Welcome back, team, to Road to Greatness. This is session 3 of our training series. We're going to run through my push session today. So all things chest, shoulders, and biceps. Chest, shoulders, and triceps. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's get right into this, shall we? I've always loved a dumbbell press on a slight incline. I've ran something like this for probably the past 3 years. It might be a higher incline depending on where I'm trying to hit or which part of the pec I'm trying to hit. For this, very much still focused on that upper shelf. That's why I'm really doing my best not to arch as much, but still just rinsing my chest of as much as it will give me. I believe I got one more rep in me. So coming down, elbows nice and wide, driving up, 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 hips stay down, boom, done deal. Always control that last rep, and we are hunky-dory. Cool. Up next, I've always done, or probably for the past 2 years, done all more of my side delt work on cables. This is one of 2 variations that I'll do today. Not too fussed on the body English through my torso. Focused on slight pause at the bottom, get the stretch, and driving up as far as I can. And you'll see the other variation I do is more of a full range of motion cable version, like a Y raise, but we'll worry about that later. Right now, moving on to dips. So I like to alternate, I like to break up my compounds with some sort of lateral raise variation. In this case, breaking up my dumbbell press and my dips. Now here, the thing I'm cueing myself is to get my chin to touch the actual dip handle, or at least get close to it. This just makes sure that my shoulders get below my elbows. I'm not using too much tricep or front delt, and all of it's coming through my chest. And I know we've got a few more in here, but I've always loved dips for chest. I get a really good connection, and the only reason why they aren't first is because the dumbbell press for me feels ever so slightly better. This is what I was talking about here in regards to my full range of motion cable Y raise. I like to pick my hips up on this because, well, it makes me feel more stable and I get less rolling through my shoulders as I go through the movement. I still get a little bit, but nowhere near as bad as if my hips were down. And again, it's just ever so slightly changing the angle is all we're doing there. But this is actually quite high reps. I'll take this to anywhere between 15 and 25. Again, nothing overly ridiculous or special about it. More doing it for shoulder health, and it gives me a really, really nasty delt pump, especially after doing a heavier set with the single arm variation. So probably got 1 or 2 more here. And on my last one, I'll always do a pause like that. I'll try to get it. If I don't get it, set's done. So yeah, 3 sets to failure there, always. After this, as I said, breaking up our compounds with laterals. 3rd compound of the day is just a pin loaded chest press. This one's actually quite nice because I can get the handles all the way back, almost in line with my pec as if it were a barbell press, except the resistance curve is much more forgiving. So yeah, hips always back against the pad, keeping that upper shelf nice and tall. If I need to have a breather, I will. But again, I will always take this to the cleaners as that last rep demonstrates. Now it's time to superset things. So first superset is a pec deck. I've never been much of a fan of a pec deck, so this more than likely might come out of rotation soon. But it's a good way to rinse whatever's left in my chest. Keeping, again, upper shelf nice and tall. Trying to get my elbows as far back as I can and then as close as I can as I come through. Not too focused on getting my hands to touch. Again, the function of the pec is to adduct the arm or bring the arm closer to the midline. not bring the hands closer to the midline. So really focused on where my elbows are positioned and what they're doing. I might have one more there, we'll find out. Yeah, so that's that last one there. I'll do like a little partial, and that's that. Again, superset with a kneeling, overhead tricep extension. Not much footage here because there's lots of people everywhere, but as you can see, cable's quite high. Get the handle behind my head and extend my arm as far as I can. After that, superset number 2 is just a good old-fashioned tricep push down. I put a band over myself for the sake of stability. I find it keeps me grounded and not flapping around like a fish. This one I take pretty high reps, so somewhere between 10 to 20 is what I'll rinse this for. And I'm not too fussed about trying to get as high as I can or get my elbow as flexed as I can. I make sure that I get at least past 90, and after that, we just rip in. Superset with that is these bad boys. So I've been doing these leg raises on a reverse hyper for a couple weeks now, and the stretch that I get at the bottom is pretty nasty. That's why I've kept doing them. Not really any other particular reason why. I always do some sort of leg raise on this day. Right now, this is the variation that I'm running. But that concludes our push session. So 3 big compounds, 2 laterals, 2 tricep, 1 isolation for the chest, and an ab exercise. This one more focused on the lower ab. But if you love this, I'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions about what I do, please let me know. I'd love to share in the comments and have you guys pick my brains and me pick yours around why I've chosen to do these things. But with that, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course, leave a review in the comments. I always love to hear from you. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys next week.